Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise to make my contribution to the 2017-2018 budget presentation under the theme, Realizing a Modern and Prosperous Dominica. And Madam Speaker, in making my contribution, Madam Speaker, I must state that this 2017-2018 budget can best be described as one of the most comprehensive, forward-thinking budgets of this Labour Party government, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in his address, the Honourable Prime Minister was very clear that Dominica's economy expanded during 2016-2017 fiscal year by 2.8%, Madam Speaker. And that in itself must be noted, Madam Speaker, considering the challenges that we had in 2016, Madam Speaker. But this was a collective result, Madam Speaker, a collective result of hard work by the entire working force of every sector in this country, Madam Speaker. The public service played their part. The farmers, the contractors, the fishermen, every sector played its part, Madam Speaker, in realizing the growth that we made, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, the same cannot be said to the opposition establishment. Because, Madam Speaker, in 2016-2017, while we continued toiling upwards with hearts and hands and voices, the opposition party, UWP, its surrogates, led by the member for the Marigot constituency, the leader of the opposition, were well entrenched in organizing destruction, Madam Speaker, in this country. Yeah. And we must take note of that. Madam Speaker, the January 1st, 2017 interview on CBS was not an isolated event, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the February 7th, 2017 demonstration, fire in Roseau, destruction of private businesses, all part of a well-oiled, destructive machine by the UWP, Madam Speaker. And we must be clear on that.
You can't say that.
I take that back, Madam Speaker. I take it back, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the fire on the streets of Salisbury, the blocking of roads were not an isolated event, Madam Speaker. Because while we are recognizing 2.8% growth, during the demonstration, there were persons who had to either travel from Roseau to Portsmouth to work, or travel from Portsmouth to Roseau to work, who could not have gone to work. Sure. And that was productive time lost, Madam Speaker. All of the demonstration were events which caused loss of production in this country. Sure. But at the same time, Madam Speaker, we never stopped fighting. We never stopped working. And we recognize growth, Madam Speaker. So all plans of destroying this country did not work, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the opposition must accept that they have not contributed to the growth of 2.8% we are realizing in this country at this time, Madam Speaker. They have not contributed because all they were doing were planning destruction, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I listened to the opposition leader, and in his entire presentation, the opposition leader has not tendered one viable proposal, not in agriculture, not in tourism, not in health, not in entrepreneurship, not even in small business, not one proposal that we can say, listening to the opposition leader, this is something we can take and move forward with this country, Madam Speaker. Nothing. Empty presentation to the House, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, while all this was happening, all of the destructions, I remember clearly our elderly people, they were crying at their homes, wondering if tomorrow Dominica will be at peace, because they were seeing the live, seen on television, fire all over the place and so on. But those of us within this government, we were never distracted. And if you look carefully, Madam Speaker, the opposition always selected a Tuesday when we are in cabinet to create mayhem in the country, Madam Speaker. And we have never stopped cabinet, not once. Cabinet went through, we continue discussing the plans of this country, and we continue working for the advancement of this country. And today we are seeing the results of the hard work of our leader, Madam Speaker, and moving this country forward. We will come to the abattoir, my friend. Don't be afraid. Madam Speaker, the agricultural sector is a major pillar of economic growth for this country, Madam Speaker. And let me at this time thank the Honourable Prime Minister for his commitment to supporting agriculture in this country, Madam Speaker. He is not only a farmer, but with every opportunity he gets, he makes the necessary funds available for advancement within the sector, Madam Speaker. And we are seeing the results, because in this budget, Madam Speaker, the agriculture, livestock, and forestry grew by 9.9%, and this is remarkable. When one considers the utterances on radio, agriculture is dead. And I must congratulate the farmers of this island, Madam Speaker. Yes. Because whilst there were certain persons in the country promoting that agriculture is dead, there is nothing happening in agriculture, serious farmers were taking advantage of the opportunities. And they were going to the aid bank, taking from the facility that we established, the $10 million facility. And that is why over 140 farmers have benefited thus far from that facility. And over $2.5 million have been disbursed, because the farmers realized that they needed that extra support. So they were not distracted. And that is why as well, with the support of the pack houses that has been established, we are able to export top quality product to original and international partners. And we have seen the results of the development in the sector. Madam Speaker, I want to turn to the manifesto of the Dominica Labour Party of the last election on page 26, I think it is. And I read, Madam Speaker. Give some light. I read, Madam Speaker. And that's coming from page 26 of the manifesto. Mr. Speaker, in the year leading up to 2013-2014, farmers were encouraged to concentrate on crops such as spices, peppers, flowers, and selected vegetables, which yielded higher income return than bananas. So the whole idea, Madam Speaker, of establishing a core group of farmers for bananas has been around for some time, because we knew the stressors of the banana planting subsector, the fight with black sigatoka, and therefore we were already encouraging the farmers to go into these high-end crops, Madam Speaker. The Ministry of Agriculture relentlessly helped farmers to increase the production of root crops, passion fruits, ginger, Christophine, cassava, arrowroot, coconut, floriculture, by providing support to over 1,000 farmers. At the same time, work began on the 2 pack houses in Roseau and Portsmouth to raise standards and facilitate the export of agricultural produce. Both of these pack houses are fully commissioned and are at the helm. And I must thank the Minister of Trade, the Honourable Ian Douglas, for all of his support in encouraging farmers and ensuring that quality products goes through the pack houses to the export market, Madam Speaker. So this is clear, Madam Speaker, that the pack houses were part of the structured program for advancing the agricultural sector, and we are now seeing the results. It's well embedded in our 2014 manifesto, Mr. Speaker, and we must take note of that. And so, Mr. Speaker, it continued. And I'm picking up a document that I received from the Ministry of Trade today, and it states, the hot sellers on the regional market now, having read what the manifesto stated in 2013-14, the hot sellers on the regional market now are yams, dashing, ginger, plantain, sweet potatoes, couscous, cucumbers, seasoning pepper, avocados, turmeric, Christophines, farine, toloma, spices, and tanya. Exactly what was said in the manifesto, and with all our effort at encouraging diversification, with all of the support that we are giving to farmers, farmers have taken advantage of the opportunity, and we are seeing the results reflecting itself in this 2017, 2018 budget, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker. And I want to congratulate the farmers who have toiled very, very hard to get us to a 9.9% growth. And I know for sure within the next fiscal year, we will increase our percentage to GDP, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker, in agriculture. So we are not perturbed by no radio program bashing agriculture. We have a job to do, and we'll continue to do it. Our mandate is to ensure that our farmers continue to make a living in the agricultural sector, and we'll do it collectively as a government, as a cabinet, as a ministry. The support of persons like Honourable the Minister for Honourable McIntyre will not go unrecognized. Always supporting the Planning Minister, always supporting the sector, always making meaningful contribution to the sector going forward. And we recognize that, and we will continue to take advantage of that, Mr. Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, the agricultural sector made significant growth. The banana and plantain subsector saw a 14% increase in the fiscal year 2016-2017. Yams, potatoes, tanya, dashing, cucumber, pumpkin, and vegetables grew by 10%. This is also remarkable, Mr. Speaker. We are seeing tangible results with the collaboration between the Ministry of Trade, Dexia, the Bureau of Standard, the Hucksters Association, and our supermarket outlets, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker. The supermarket outlets, they are one of the major pushers of local vegetables, Mr. Speaker. Anytime you go into the supermarkets, you will meet fresh produce, cucumbers, dashing, plantain, bananas, you name it, or ripeners. They're doing a very good job in ensuring that the persons who like their ripe bananas can get it on a regular basis, not only in the supermarkets, but in the street corners across the island. And all of these small efforts are assisting in pushing the agricultural sector forward, because we are satisfied that when it comes to food security, we know where we are at, but we know that we have to do additional work to take advantage of the export market, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in the 2017-18 fiscal year, some 13,819,009 will be pumped into the agricultural sector, Mr. Speaker. This is government commitment to the farmers. This is government commitment to the exporters. This is government commitment to the entire sector, that this government is well entrenched in supporting agriculture. This government is putting its money where its mouth is, and this government is making $13 million available for the agricultural sector, Mr. Speaker. And I will go into some of the areas of interest, Mr. Speaker. Enhancement of the phytosanitary capacity of the plant protection and quarantine unit, Mr. Speaker. We are bombarded by pests and diseases, taking an advantage of our farmers. As a matter of fact, it's one of the highest costs for our farmers today, management of pests and diseases in their crop, Mr. Speaker. Farmers go into vegetable and their crops are moving on well. All of a sudden, some disease come in, and it costs them a lot of money to control it, and for some of them, they lose the entire crop. And so, the government in this budget is putting $904,555 to help our farmers, Mr. Speaker, through the ministry in reducing loss to yields and income caused by pests and disease. Hopefully, we hope that within the year, we would have reduced the cost by some 30% to prevent the introduction and spread of invasive pest species and to increase market access. Because this is why the farmer goes into agriculture, is to increase his market access and to make a comfortable living out of his farm. And so the ministry, hopefully this year, we will take a better hold on some of this pest and disease by investing almost $1 million in the management of pest and disease to enhance our food security and to improve income and livelihood of our farmers, in particular our rural farmers, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the operationalization of the National Abattoir, we will in this budget invest $1.6 million into the abattoir, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, the abattoir is now complete with all machinery and equipment, Mr. Speaker. And the abattoir is making a very good dent on cutting our meat import bill as we speak, Mr. Speaker. Presently, to date, Mr. Speaker, to date, 72,894 pounds of chicken and 24,530 pounds of pork have been processed at the abattoir at a total value of $608,544. So we're over $500,000. And we will increase, because I got the news today that one of the major meat sellers on the island is now asking for 1,000 pounds of pork a week, because the quality of meat that comes out of the abattoir, the farmers, the consumers are rapidly buying into it. They are getting the cuts that they need. They are getting the supply on a regular basis, and they know no supermarket can have pork in it that is fresh, coming from overseas. The only fresh pork you can get is pork coming out of the abattoir, which is wholesome. The vet unit of the ministry, they are supervising the farms, they are supporting the farmers, they are assisting the farmers, and we will increase the production of pigs on the island to meet the growing demand for pork. By November, when we have the Quail Festival, 90% of all of the pork you will meet on the grills will be coming from the abattoir, I can assure you that. And rest assured, I can assure you that. Madam Speaker, this is also of importance. Out of this amount, 18,876 pounds of chicken has been purchased from farms established under the NEP. NEP, a program that you guys continue to criticize. But we are saying in this budget that we are presenting that some $118,256 has been paid out to young farmers through the NEP program, Madam Speaker, Mr. Speaker. So they have established this facility with support from the Ministry of Trade across the island, and they are able to support regularly, provide chicken for the abattoir for slaughter. Eventually, most of these young people will go on their own and establish their independent project, having been trained over a period of time and having mastered the art of producing chicken. The government itself will support them in establishing their own independent unit, because we're not going to stop here. We have to make a dent out of that $14 million meat import bill, but we will do it incrementally. We will not get it done right away. We will do that incrementally. But we have a challenge. We have a challenge. The United Workers' Party, the official opposition, continue to criticize the abattoir, and they are discouraging people from purchasing from the abattoir. No. Madam Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let's be clear. Mr. Speaker, let's be clear. This presentation by the opposition here in the Parliament playing Mr. Nice Boy like they're so friendly to us and they want to work with the government. That's a show inside here. As soon as they leave, this building is brimstone and fire. As soon as they step out of this door, is done with the government. Get those stones, demonstration. That's what they're all about. They're not interested in Dominica's development. You realize that they're not interested in Dominica's development. I can say that. Okay, I'm taking back the part of the stones. Mr. Speaker, why do you think the opposition leader, Mr. Speaker, the opposition leader failed to mention one viable project he has in mind? Because for the whole year, all he discussing is voter ID and suppressing votes. That's all the opposition leader does. Anytime he gets a chance on a program, is to, as a matter of fact, while the government is looking at ways of getting the new citizens to pay taxes into the country, the only thing the opposition talks about is his fear of they coming to vote, That's his biggest fear, These persons becoming eligible voters. That's why he spends his time, because these are the things he's interested in. He's not interested in Dominica development. None of the opposition members are interested in the advancement of this country. It's a Labour Party government led by Roosevelt's Carrot. We are the ones who are interested in moving this country forward. Otherwise, they'll be making a better contribution. From 10 to them, they'll be making a positive contribution. Whenever they speak, it's to discourage people. So we know it, and we are aware of it, and that is why this Labour Party government will continue to operate in the manner of a storm is on the sea. The storm is not on the island, but we are getting the rough waters. The waves are bashing our shores. That's how the operation operates. But we have proper defense. So we will move this country forward with or without contribution of the opposition, because for the past 15 years, we've got nothing from them, and the country continues to move forward. So this is where we are, Mr. Speaker, as I get back on track. During the past 3 months, April to June, $217,648.58 has been paid to farmers for pork and poultry supplied to the National Abattoir, Mr. Speaker. In just 3 months, some 217,000 paid to farmers. And as long as we can get this incremental consumption of pork and poultry, more money will be paid out to farmers. Most of these farmers, all of them have at least one employee with them. They'll be able to increase their employees by another 2. And this is employment in the country. This is the things that we want people to support what is ours. The opposition, you are too caught up in not supporting growth in this country. And we cannot come here and pretend that you guys are supporting growth. We are seeking a reduction in import of pork and poultry by 10% in the next 2 years, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I move to another area, Mr. Speaker, that's of importance. And that's a new venture, vegetable expansion. In this fiscal year, $1,301,482 will be invested in the production of vegetables, Mr. Speaker. And one of the areas that we are targeting is the new settlement, Dr. Darrow, of new settlement that we have. We hope to invest in greenhouses and other support for your new villagers in Jupik in vegetable production. They will be fully supported with fertilizers and greenhouses and land so that they can create a market for themselves and so on. So through this program, we intend to support them. Additionally, an assessment will be made, and the irrigations and so on are going to come on stream. And in the vegetable production areas like Girondel, Dr. Mac, Mont Prosper, Belle Chopin, Grand Savan, Penville, Calabishi, Casabros, where we'll be working on irrigation, Lapland, and so on. All of these areas will be supported to increase vegetable production, and we'll be looking at high-end vegetable production. The demand that we have for cucumbers of some 10,000 pounds weekly under this program, our hope is that we will be able to sustain that, establish the staggering of planting, where farmers will be part of a program, a structured program, where they will be assisted, and we will get the quality that we are looking at, because the demand for our crops is not only the root crops, but the vegetables are coming on board now. So the lettuce and the celeries and the cucumbers and so on, we have to start exporting some of these products. And with this $1.3 million being invested just in vegetables, we are sure that, like we have reported, for every other areas, we will get the multiplier effect that we are looking for to, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, construction and repairs of bridges on the Waitikubuli National Trail. And I heard the member for Roseau, the Honourable, not Roseau, but Roseau South, I think it was. No, I think it was Ifeisa, mentioned earlier today in his presentation that the trails are in a mess and people, but this cannot be true. Mr. Speaker, let me report to the Honourable House that the figures for the National Trail from January to March, user fees, ticket sale for the month of January 2017 was $272,884.68. User fees for the month of February was $187,140.40. User fees for the month of March was $223,799.40. So for the 3 months, February to March, a total of $723,540.63 was pumped into the economy through the payment of user fees for our ecotourism site, Mr. Speaker. So when the member come and say about the trail is in a mess, that's not true, because we know it has been maintained. Additionally, in this budget, Mr. Speaker, we are going to be spending $500,000, that is $500,000, to provide upgrade for 3 major sites where the bridges were lost during tropical America, segment 1, 3, and 5. And these areas are in places like Casabros, where we had this lovely spring bridge on the trail, and then tropical South America was so high, although the bridge was very high, but you know, tropical summer, the rivers exploded, and this bridge got washed away. It will be replaced, and this will provide unhindered and safe access to hikers, to include local and foreign visitors as well, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, of this $723,000 that was spent, that was only spent for the ecotourism site. What about the other areas that they spend all of the money for their lunch and their hotel rooms and so on, all of these tourists? Martinique is becoming a major market for our tourism, Martinique and Guadeloupe in Dominica. And hundreds of visitors come through Martinique and Guadeloupe, especially during the summer months when we have the down season for the cruise tourism. They form the bulk of the visitors who comes into the island, and they help sustain our sector, going to Emerald Pool and Trafalgar Fall and all of the other areas and so on, and spending their money, keeping the tourism sector going. So while you always see the negative side, our job is to do what it takes to ensure that these sub-sectors succeed. And they are succeeding, Madam Speaker. Because at the same time, Madam Speaker, on page 7 in my document, rehabilitation of trail facilities within the national parks, $298,000 will be spent on the rehabilitation of trails and national park. And every year, money is budgeted for the rehabilitation and work on all of the trails and national park. And of this, Mr. Speaker, improve accessibility to ecotourism sites to enhance visitor comfort. In this financial year, 2017-2018, 12 of the designated ecotourism sites where user fees are charged will be considered. Namely, further work on, and we're talking about further works, because work is ongoing. Further works on Emerald Pool, Mont Tuapito Trail, Middleham Falls, Boiling Lake, Freshwater Lake, Champagne, Chimeleka, Brewery Lake, Sophia Sulphur Spring, Cabrit National Park. If there are other sites that I have not mentioned, it must be those established on your holding. But all of the major sites are covered. All of the major sites are covered, Mr. Speaker. And they will be given attention with an injection of $298,000, because it is clear with us that we recognize the eco-tourism site as a major contributor to our tourism product. And Mr. Speaker, all of these funds will be given to the Ministry of Tourism to include in their budget, because they are the ones managing the promotion of the tourism sites, and we are happy to be making a contribution, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, development of the banana and plantain subsector. Some 3 million, and take note, some 3,184,372 will be going into the development of the banana and plantain subsector. And Mr. Speaker, even when we were taking a pounding from the Black Secretary, government was still injecting support to the banana and plantain subsector. Government has never stopped doing that with fertilizer, with all kind of support we can, because we understand the importance of the banana and plantain subsector to the economy. But we were clear that not everybody can stay in bananas. Some persons, because of the challenge with managing Black Secretary, the cost of production, the price in the marketplace, some persons were always better off leaving bananas and going to something else, and leaving plantain and diversifying, and so on. So no program on a Tuesday morning can derail our efforts at pushing the banana and plantain subsector forward. Sure. And so, Madam Speaker, we are seeing the results. The government of Dominica, no, I can never listen to you on a Tuesday. The government of Dominica has identified banana and plantain as development crops. For this reason, so government has increased the budgetary allocation by almost 100% to the banana and plantain subsector, Mr. Speaker. Government, and I want the farmers all there to listen. I don't want them to be distracted. I'm saying to you, those of you who intend to stay in bananas, who intend to stay in plantain, prepare yourself for hard work. However, your government, the Dominican Labour Party government, led by the Honourable Prime Minister, has doubled the budgetary allocation for you in 2016-2017, 2018, and we will support you. That is why, Mr. Speaker, we have already given to the farmers who are serious in 2016-2017. 50 farmers receive assistance to upgrade their pack houses and shed to meet certification standard to the sum of some $365,000. We have given this to the farmers, serious farmers, the 50 farmers, the core farmers we are looking at, who will work in the banana subsector and will upgrade their farms and be certified so we can go back on the export market. And the Prime Minister did recognize the hard work of persons like Mr. Kevin Stevenson, Mr. McIntyre, Angus McIntyre, and all of the extension persons who are working within the subsector to ensure that we arrest this thing. There'll be a new approach to fighting Black Secretary, Mr. Speaker, with the added income that we now have. And mark you, every year government makes over $1 million available for fighting Black Secretary. But it's an ongoing battle, and we recognize the challenge that we have. Farmers also have to play their part seriously. There are too many abandoned farms across the island, where the farmer only comes for 2 bunches of banana to take to his home to cook, and therefore he's not interested in serious banana production anymore. So therefore he feels, behave yourself. He feels he doesn't necessarily have to clean that farm anymore, but it is affecting the farmers who are serious about bananas, because it is propagating Black Secretary. So I'm saying to the farmers across the island, those of you who are not interested in bananas, you should get out of it and diversify, because we will not be able to continue to have abandoned field affecting serious banana farmers as we go into the future. There are legislation to deal with that. We may have to implement it. But for sure, these farmers who are now receiving the 60,000 plantlets that we are bringing onto the island, and who are going to take bananas as the core farming practices, they have to be supported by the state across the board. And so with the new varieties that we're bringing in, and I should also state, Mr. Speaker, that the new varieties of bananas that we're bringing in are varieties recommended by CADI. When we brought in the first set of banana plantlets, CADI established demonstration farms. And CADI has decided that, although they're not totally black secret total resistance, but the varieties which we can establish going forward are the CV902, the Jumbo, and the Bamboo. These are the three varieties, Dr. Mack, that we will be bringing in. We have already started. We've brought in the first batch of the CV902 of 15,000 plantlets. We are distributing it to farmers. CADI recommended it. And we are moving it head on. By August, we'll bring in another 15,000. And then later on in the year, we'll bring in another 15,000 plantlets. This will be given to serious banana farmers, and we will support them across the board, because we will want to continue to supply our ripeners, but we won't be able to consume all of the bananas we are producing on the island if we bring in an additional 60,000 banana plants. So therefore, we must go back to the European market. But definitely, it will not be for all. And I dare say, I do not see not one member of the opposition who will be able to establish a plot, because you guys are not farmers. So we will move forward. Mr. Speaker, yes, customers for sure. The cocoa industry, Mr. Speaker, we are going to be pumping in some $487,000 into the cocoa industry. And I want to really thank the Minister for Commerce. Minister for Commerce, for all of the monies that we've been giving in small business to assist our cocoa producers in buying their equipment, the grinders and all of that and so on, in providing themselves with labeling and packaging, because these farmers in the cocoa business, they have their own market niche. They are moving cocoa to St. Martin and Guadeloupe and Tortola and St. Kitts and Nevis, and I believe this is not even captured in the GDP, because they are small farmers producing in their kitchen and in their basements and so on, just for special targeted market. But they are sending out cocoa rapidly out there and so on. And through the small business initiative, they've been able to get support of $5,000 and $8,000 and $6,000 and $3,000 to buy the equipment and so on. So we have to continue to support the cocoa sub-sector. And additionally, we expect to see at least 60 acres of abandoned cocoa farms rehabilitated in this fiscal year. So we'll continue to support the cocoa farmers to ensure that they continue to make a living. But most importantly, we have to increase our acreage, and we have to increase the farms that we are rehabilitating, and we have to support all of the small cottages, cocoa cottages, who are making their living out of cocoa. Even locally, Madam Speaker, everybody wants to drink their cocoa. And therefore, we have to support the industry, and we are happy that we are supporting the industry, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, support to horticulture. The support to horticulture is very important, because for a large margin, by a large margin, some of the increase we are seeing in the agricultural sector is because of the structured program we have under the support to horticulture. Because we've been helping farmers across the board in Tania, dashing, yams, you just name it, cucumbers, hot peppers, and this year, with the coming on stream of the dashing initiative, where we are already sending out at least 2 containers of dashing weekly, we intend, and we have already started to engage the farmers, Mr. Speaker, to produce at least 3 acres of dashing per farmer. We intend to export 2 20-feet containers regularly to both the UK and the US market fortnightly, Mr. Speaker. Presently, as we speak, Madam Speaker, the delivery within the intention is to ensure that this dashing, when harvested, reaches the pack houses within 4 hours of harvesting. And that is why the farmers will be part of a structured program. The dashing will be treated, ready for export, and we will move on that through the pack house, Mr. Speaker. And then, Mr. Speaker, The farmers will be supported with fertilizers and technical support, and the farmers will also be encouraged to go to the aid bank through the facility that we have established to get their soft loans, and they will be supported by both Dexia and the Ministry of Agriculture so that they can contract their loans, because this is what this $10 million is all about. So the Bells farmers who are rapidly expanding their farms, just in preparation for this new initiative, I say to them, continue working hard, continue pursuing. Your government is behind you, your power rep is behind you, the support will continue through the ministry, and we will support this joint initiative between Dominica and St. Vincent to take advantage of the market, both in the UK market and the US market for the Dashing initiative. But we'll continue, Mr. Speaker, to engage some of our major other areas. Another area we're looking at, Mr. Speaker, is in the area of cassava development. Just a couple of months ago, we had this big consultation at the Fortune Hotel looking at the expansion of cassava. So the Ministry of Agriculture has engaged FAO in a 4-year cassava project for development of the value added to cassava in this country. And we are targeting areas like the Carib territory, Deepa Gurup, Kalinago territory, Deepa Gurup, Delis, La Plaine, and other southeast areas to move into cassava as a serious business. We intend to ensure that we add cassava to the bread business here in Dominica. Cassava is already been added to the flour, white flour, in Trinidad and Barbados for bread. So the project intends to engage some of our major bakeries in Dominica to include at least 40% of cassava mash in our local bread. And Madam Speaker, it's worth noting, Mr. Speaker, cassava is a high dietary fiber product, Mr. Speaker, gluten-free and wholesome food for our people. So we want to cut down in the consumption of all of this white flour that our people are eating every day. Too much of white flour bread. And we intend to put at least 40% of cassava into the bread business, so that when you eat that bread, you're eating more cassava than flour. And this is where we're going. And my understanding that is very good for human beings, Mr. Speaker. This will achieve through the provision of the farmers being placed in a core structured program. As you know, cassava takes over a year before it is ready. So therefore, you have to ensure that you have cassava every month if it's going to take over a year. But the Caribs has mastered the art of the cassava business. The Kalinago people, they've mastered the art, and we will definitely learn from them, Mr. Speaker, as we move forward. And so, Mr. Speaker, we are not daunted by our efforts in agriculture. I heard the member for Rosa South, again, had so much to say about agriculture. But I need to say to him at this meeting of the Parliament today that last year, agriculture contributed $180 million to the GDP of this country. $180 million. Mr. Speaker, why do you think all of our credit unions are so liquid? Every credit union made a profit last year, you know that? Yeah. Every single credit union made a profit. All of the banks are making a profit. And the credit union, most of their clienteles are the farmers and the small people in the rural areas. And they're doing well. That's because the economy is doing well. And that's why we can record a 2.8% increase in our economy, Mr. Speaker. Our credit unions are doing well. They're employing more people. I saw my credit union just employ 2 more young persons from Casabos. I was so happy, increasing their staff, because business is increasing. So when people say about the economy is bad and the economy is falling apart, your banks are one of your main indicators as to how strong your economy is. And our banks, they are very liquid. They have money. They want people to come and lend the money out of the banks and so on. So they are all competing among themselves to see how attractive their rate can be, because they have money in the banks. That's because of the hard work of a good government, Mr. Speaker. That's why this is happening in this country. And so we have to continue to support to support our country. Mr. Speaker, I heard the member for Roseau South said that, and I just want to fit that in there, you know. He was trying to compare the opposition with the government. We cannot compare the hard work of this government to the lazy work of the opposition. They cannot be compared. And he said that the opposition members, they are following on the government's initiative by giving out. He said he even have his own red clinic. He have his own version of the red clinic, and every member of the opposition are busy giving out all of the salaries that we are giving, that they are picking up at the end of the month. Mr. Speaker, I cannot put my hand in fire for the leader of the opposition. He's from Marigot. I do not know his personalities, so therefore I can put my hand in fire for him. As to whether he's giving out all of his salary, or when he gets things he doesn't take for himself, when things come he's giving out all, and so on and so on. I can't get involved in that. But I can put my hand in fire for the senator from Casabros. And I can tell you at this moment that the senator I have backed this is not giving one person from the Casabros constituency $5 out of his salary. And I can attest to that. And you could go to the constituency and ask them about it. And none of the opposition leader gives out nothing of theirs to anybody. It's only the Labour Party who has this open hands. And we are giving to people, and that's why we are getting. We are the ones who are sharing with people. You people do not know about this thing. I don't see Mr. John giving out his money when you're at the end of the month at all. And so, Madam Speaker, when they come to this house and try to associate themselves with us, only in the house are trying that, nowhere else, and that they are as good as the members of the government side and we are doing the same thing. No! We are not doing the same things. We are operating on opposite side of the fence. We are the ones with empathy, open hearts, helping people, not the opposition. No, not at all. And we must be very, very clear when we are discussing matters of national importance and national interest. There is a separation, total separation, between the UWP and the Labour Party. We are the party of people. We are the party of the small people. We are the party of supporting people, and they remain the party of destruction. And I suspect they will be the party of destruction for a very, very, very long time. And we have to keep them where they are, Madam Speaker. And so, Mr. Speaker, I need to move quickly to my constituency, the Casabros constituency, Mr. Speaker. And again, I have said to the senator from Casabros, Senator Baptist, that he must spend some more time up in the constituency, because he doesn't seem to know what's going on at all. Every time the member senator comes into the house, he speaks of something that is ongoing, like something that needs to be done. And this time, he mentioned the repairs to the Saint-Sauveur Primary School. And he's saying to me, Mr. Drigo, you need to go and do the repairs of the Saint-Sauveur Primary School. Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, the Saint-Sauveur Primary School repair is a BNTF project. And we know the intricacies of securing BNTF projects. And Madam Speaker, as we speak, I missed the closing of school, so I could not have made a statement to the school. But I have already called a meeting with the Saint-Sauveur school parents, one in Pinisufia and one in Good Hope, separate meetings. And we discussed at length the possibility of what is going to happen come September, that the Saint-Sauveur school is going to be repaired at a tune of over $450,000 on the BNTF. And the possibility exists that the children will be taken to Good Hope at the Good Hope Resource Center for school. I sat with the permanent secretary this week already as we speak. I sat with the minister, and we're looking at the logistics. What has to be done to upgrade the resource center to ensure that the children are comfortable. We are looking at whether the children will be going to school for the entire day or whether they'll be going home at 2. Every child in the Saint-Sauveur Good Hope catchment knows that, and the senator who wants to represent the people doesn't know that. Yeah. So therefore, I just cannot understand it. So, well, I understand that it's going out. Having said that, so we are going, let me say to the Saint-Sauveur people, that we are quite aware of the repairs needed to be done on that school. And we are ready for BNTF, the support of Lady Daniel, that they are waiting for the no objection from the CDB. And very soon, both projects, That is the retaining wall at Good Hope, and the repairs to the Saint-Sauveur Primary School will commence, and we will do all of the necessary work needed to ensure that the Saint-Sauveur Primary School is back to what it used to look like when it was first constructed, Mr. Speaker. So the Senator, I'm sorry that he's not there to get that information, but he's listening on radio, and he will get it. And as I said, Madam Speaker, I have met with all of my community catchment areas to discuss with them the readiness for school in September. Because normally at the graduation, I instruct them. So I call everybody to a meeting in Good Hope, a meeting in Deepa, a meeting in Casaros, a meeting in Pinisufwe, and I listen to them, and I share with them, and we have everything well structured. As a matter of fact, there will be a meeting of each of the hamlets again before school open in September to discuss the question of the bus service and all of that, where we are at and our readiness, the teachers, the chalkboard, everything that has to be done in all of the schools. Because I take education very seriously up there, Madam Speaker. There are too many opportunities in education today for me to have one lapse. I want my people to take advantage of all of the opportunities in education, and the government is catering for that, and therefore I don't want nobody to miss out. I even have a secret. I have already secured all of the shoes for all of my needy children for September, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker. This is already secured. So that I have the list, parent's name, child's age, the size of the shoe, boy, girl, so that when I take it to the spot where I'm getting the shoes, we can have no mix-up. So it's a 3-year-old 10 for boy or girl. So the people know exactly what they're doing. This is how structured that I have this thing. My seamstress is at work. For the NEP, I employed 2 young ladies, Mr. Member for Portsmouth. I employed 2 young ladies to work with one of my seamstresses up there under the NEP. And through small business, I gave the seamstress 2 additional sewing machines to speed up her work so that she can make all of the uniforms I need for the Good Hope and Deepa catchment, special catchment, Good Hope and Deepa. That's all she has to work on. Nobody else has to go on this September. Because I want to ensure that every child in Deepa and Good Hope who needs a uniform in September will have it in time. And there are separate persons in Casaros doing the sewing for me, Madam Speaker. And I will only order for Pinisufwe this year for the first time because the 2 seamstresses I have up there, one have a bad leg and one is Anyway, having said that, so I'm going to order for Pinisufwe. But this is well structured, it's a program because you have to be part of it and so on. You cannot operate in isolation. So all of this is being done to ensure that when September comes, our children are ready, Madam Speaker, for school. Madam Speaker, we continue with roads in the constituency, Madam Speaker. We are presently spending over $1 million in village roads and rehabilitation work in the constituency. We've been told, and we have satisfied ourselves, that the DVRP will do some of the major interventions from Tarish Pit, the retaining walls coming down and so on. But we understand the challenges with the DVRP, the slow process. But we did not wait. The Prime Minister made over $400,000 available for the Casaros constituency for special intervention, retaining walls in Pinisufwe. We have a major retaining wall going on there, well over $200,000. Retaining wall and bridge crossing in Good Hope. We are doing all of this work for the safety of our people because we understand that we are living in a vulnerable area and we're not waiting on DVRP. When DVRP money is ready, we'll welcome it. But if they're not careful, we might end up doing all of our intervention before they start one project because I'm not going to wait on them. I will go to the Prime Minister and say to him that that project has to continue because we can't wait on DVRP anymore. And this is how we are operating out there. Madam Speaker, in Good Hope.
You have 5 minutes left.
Okay, 10 more will do.
Madam Speaker, I move that the Honourable Minister for Agriculture be given an additional 5 minutes to complete his presentation on the budget.
Second, Madam Speaker.
Yes, second.
Second, Madam Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the Minister for Agriculture be given a further 5 minutes to complete his contribution. That's 5 minutes, he said. Okay.
No, that's all right, that's all right.
Those in favor? Aye. Those against? The ayes have it. Continue. Patient,
Thank you very much, Madam.
patient.
In Good Hope, Madam Speaker, we are transforming the road network in Good Hope. We just built a major link road. As a matter of fact, it only completed last week. A major link road in Good Hope to the tune of $500,000, Madam Speaker, for the people of Good Hope in what we call the Cochrane area. We call it Cochrane area phase 4. As a matter of fact, the Good Hope people have said to me, Mr. Drigo, we have to have an official opening of that road. So I'll be inviting GIS sometime next week to come up to Good Hope with me so we can formally open that road, because this road never existed before. It was a mud place where when the people were going to church, they had to either walk with their shoes in their hand and walk in the mud, or put their boots, and when they reach at the end of the road, put their shoe, because there was always mud. And I negotiated with the landowners. We didn't pay a cent for land. All we paid them was for their crops. And we did it in phases, where we did the crossings first, all of the culvert crossings, and then we got funds, and we now have a brand new road, a highway in Good Hope, and you can go right through Good Hope, a thoroughfare. And the Prime Minister knows Good Hope roads very well. So now you can go right around Good Hope without hindrance. In case of a disaster, we now know that our people can no longer be blocked in any way. In Pidisufwe, Madam Speaker, we are building 2 new roads. We are building a road to an area called Savan. So we will soon have motor vehicle heading to Savan. And when this road in Savan is complete, Madam Speaker, I'm going to invite you to Savan, because I'll be driving you to Savan. Because if I take you to there now, you won't be able to walk back up. So when the road is complete, I'll take you with me. Let's go and see a new area in Pidisufwe where we are constructing a new road. There's another new road in Pidisufwe again, Madam Speaker, an area called Livelui, Upper Livelui. We are constructing a new road to go inside to meet a group of families who never had motorable road before. This is happening in Good Hope as we speak. In Casabros, Madam Speaker, we are doing several village roads in Casabros. And then the long-awaited Senos Bridge for the Casabros community. Senos Bridge is a flat bridge. Whenever it rains, the river floods the area and nobody can pass. The road becomes impassable. And they've been asking me for that bridge in Casabros for years now. But I always say to them that there's too much to be done in Good Hope, Saint-Sauveur, and Pidisufwe as priority. I won't be able to build that bridge for you yet. But today, I can say to the people of Casabros, immediately after the budget, we will be building the Senos Bridge will commence, and you will have a very nice, brand new bridge going up in the Senos area. And Madam Speaker, there are several other road projects that will come on stream following the budget in the entire constituency, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are now spending $1 million on washroom facilities in the constituency. And we will increase that, because we had an estimate of $2.8 million for washroom. We've so far invested $1 million. After the budget, we'll invest more money in the washroom program for the people of the Casabros constituency, eliminating pit latrine. It's a continued process. And for the persons who have not gotten their washroom and saying to me, somewhere, so long I waiting, I haven't gotten mine. We will be building your washroom facility for you after the budget, because this is the commitment of the government that we will eliminate pit latrine totally out of the country. We will eradicate it. So therefore, don't be afraid. Your facility is coming, Madam Speaker. For the persons who've been waiting for the continued housing renovation, these projects will continue immediately after the budget, so that we continue to bring ease to our constituents and they can enjoy themselves with their government, Madam Speaker. We are happy that in this budget, Madam Speaker, we have over $1 million for the Pidisufwe Rosary Link Road, an important project for the people of Pidisufwe, Madam Speaker. And we will burst Washmark. Washmark thinks he's in charge of us, but we'll demonstrate to him that we're in charge of him. So we will be attacking Washmark in earnest after the passing of the budget. And the people of Pidisufwe, I know they're excited to hear that we're going to burst Washmark and rapidly complete that Pidisufwe Rosary Link Road for the people of Pidisufwe, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my time is short, but I could go on and on and on. The facility through the Ministry of Commerce for establishing enterprises at the various communities. There are 2 enterprises in the Casabros Youth Center as we speak, a fishing enterprise and an auto body repair enterprise, where young people are engaged in fishing. Madam Speaker, in the past, we used to have to go out to buy fish. That's a thing of the past. Casabros full fish now, 7 new boats going out at sea, where with the support of the government and support of the church, we trained our fishermen in safety at sea. We train them in auto engine repairs. We train them in everything they needed to go out fishing. And these guys, I can tell you, they are bringing in dolphin into that community. So we are supporting our people, and we will expand it. We're going to train an additional 26 young men in fishing, because we have realized that this is an area where the young people are attracted to it, especially some of our young boys. They want to go out and fish, so we're going to send them and fish. And with all of the FADs that we have established across the island, over 100 FADs across the island, and with the mega FADs, the bigger FADs being on the east, the chances of catching fish has increased. So therefore, whenever you go out, you will come back with your supper, or you'll come back with enough to sell to make money. And therefore, we are pushing our farmers in that respect, Madam Speaker. And we, through the small business, Madam Speaker, we have assisted our farmers in welding, plumbing. Madam Speaker, through the washroom program, we are now establishing a plumbing module where we have engaged one man, young man, in building washrooms, and his job is to train 5 young men in plumbing, and they all will be getting a stipend from the NEP to do that training with the young man who is building the washroom facilities in Good Hope. All of this is to add value to these young men, their skills, so that they can be more independent as they grow up, Madam Speaker. We are hoping, and not hoping, immediately after the budget, we will purchase an ice machine for the fishermen of Saint-Sauveur, Madam Speaker, up to the tune of almost $40,000, because we want our fishermen to go out at sea with ice at all time, because fishing is a major industry in that area. That's what they do for a living. So we're going to be supporting them, Madam Speaker. We continue to support our bakeries. One young man decided that he's going into Turkey. So we're taking a test with him. He has ordered 100 turkey, and through the small business, I made available all of the funds he needs for feeding and maintaining of this turkey. So he's fencing an area to put his turkey. It's going to be a trial. And if we succeed, we might all be competing with the abattoir between chicken and turkey, because it's going to be a small business for this young man. We will encourage people to purchase turkey from him, and we'll make sure that he expands. But I'm looking forward to that enterprise of turkey, and I'm going to ensure that the vet work with him so that he succeeds. But this is what he wants to do. So we have to give him the support, and that's why hopefully very soon we'll have a project of 100 turkey in the community, and we'll support him, Madam Speaker, because it's all about supporting our people for their very own advancement, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I must make mention of the I Can See Clearly program quickly, just to state that in the Castle's catchment under the I Can See Clearly program, some 493 students were assessed, Madam Speaker. 493 students were assessed. Of these 493 students, in some 27 students needed prescription for glasses, Madam Speaker, all at the cost of the government. So, Madam Speaker, you see how many students in the Castle's primary school catchment who were suffering with eye problem, and it was not detected. And through this program, they have now been detected, thanks to Dr. Daru, government, and his team. At the secondary school, some 53 students needed prescription, Madam Speaker, coming out of the program. So this is a remarkable success story for the program in the Castle's catchment, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I came into this job to serve people. And I'm happy that through the Ministry of Agriculture, we are seeing success. We are seeing light in the tunnel. No amount of Mapui and radio talk show will derail our efforts. With a success of 9.9%, this is a moral booster to move forward. So we'll continue to ensure that agriculture continue to play a very important role in the GDP of this country. I want to thank the people of Castlebrus, Good Hope, Toronto, Mopo Dipa, Saint-Sauveur, Brong, Pidisufuye, for your continued support. I want to thank you for your advice. I want to thank you for from time to time even pulling my ears and saying to me, Mr. Drigo, you need to catch up here and you need to catch up there. That's why I'm your parrot. My commitment to you is unwavering. I will continue to support you. I ask you to continue to support me. Let us move Casaro's constituency forward. Let us move Dominica forward. Let us move the agricultural sector forward. But most importantly, let us continue to unite as a team. Forget about those who are not interested in advancement and development. But with a 2.8% increase in GDP and a projected 3.5 or whatever percent for next year, Dominica is on the way to meeting, to realizing a modern and prosperous Dominica. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.